Hey guys, it's George Geddes from Esports. Today I'm joined by FlyQuest mid laner PowerOfEvil following their game against Top Esports in their first match of Worlds. How do you feel, man?
Well, obviously it wasn't the start we hoped for, but after falling that far behind in the early game, I was pretty happy that we still pulled off a fight and tried to fight with that that much of a deficit in gold. And yeah, I feel like next games we just need to be more ready, maybe have a better plan, and
hmm
yeah.
No, I wanted to actually pick your brain a bit on these sort of expectations you had going into the actual match. Was there any weaknesses you sort of identified? Because I know analysts have talked about like Top maybe get a little bit, overzealous sometimes. They go for a few more fights than maybe they should. What sort of negatives did you find in Top's game before you went into this match?
Well, they take a lot of fights, pretty much every fight they can normally. So even when they're ahead, they will pick a bad fight, and you can punish that obviously. Besides that, obviously warding patterns and jungle routes, they're normally pretty consistent with these. So we just try to identify them and try to use them for our advantage. And today, obviously, it didn't work out as good as we wanted, but I feel like as well, just seeing maybe how the draft played out today could help us in the rematch next week, I think.
So I wanted to actually sort of express that drafting phase that you guys had. What positives would you take away from that you felt, I could certainly exploit that next time we played, or I definitely feel like maybe that champion shouldn't be played on, Knight on a Carly, this kind of thing. Like, were there any champions that maybe to ban next time or to let through, for example?
I'm not sure. I feel like mid bot went pretty fine in the early game and early stages. I feel like we need to just be having a cleaner early game with I think 1v1s, like river fights, 2v2s, and 3v3s. So I think that's the main thing because I felt like we just lost, not because of draft, but because they just outplayed us in the early game. I feel like in the mid to late game, we actually did really, really good where we got 2 for 2s while we were 5 go down. So I think yeah, the early stages where we need to fix the issues. And I feel like the draft was fine. Obviously, we're probably gonna adjust a few things here and there depending on what we saw today, but um, I wouldn't blame the draft for today.
So I wanted to sort of go into this idea of how FlyQuest are as a team, right? You guys are always considered to be this sort of underdog team. You go into like every tournament, yet regionally you've actually performed really well. You guys finished second in like 2 playoffs in a row or something. Like you guys are actually playing very, very well. Yet when the general fan thinks of North American League of Legends, they immediately think, oh, TSM, Team Liquid, they're going to what? They're the only hopes. Do you guys feel like this sort of gives you like an expectation that you feel like you could actually, beat some of these teams?
Um, I wouldn't say particularly like we feel like bad about this. I feel like when you're the underdog, there's less pressure on you,
hmm
and I feel like you're obviously more easy to surpass public perceptions on you. So I feel like it was similar to 2017 when I was on Misfits with Igna, where most people said that we're gonna drop down, we're gonna lose the group stage really hard, and obviously this year we're having a really tough group of Top Esports, DIX, and Unicorns of Love, but um, I feel like you're not a pro player if you don't believe in yourself and if you don't, like give everything and try to make it work. And I feel like we can win and we can beat these teams. So we will just try our best and hopefully we can make it.
Yeah, I wanted to actually bring up one thing because I know obviously you are going to be going up against some of your former teammates. Obviously you've been on quite a few organizations, Unicorns of Love, for example. Is actually I believe it's actually in your group, right? DRX top, yeah,
Yeah.
that is your group. So, are there a few players potentially that you're looking forward to playing against in the group?
Well, so Unicorns of Love doesn't actually have the roster that I played with, so there's no player anymore that I would say like I recognize or that I played with before. But Unicorns of Love is obviously still like a home to me because that was where my career started. That was when I qualified to the LCS and I kind of made myself a name for myself. And obviously, like Sheepy is still like the owner slash coach for the organization, so I still know him and I spoke with him the other day. It's a little bit sad that we face off in group stage, but hopefully I can knock them down and Yeah,
Hmm.
that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean that would certainly be something to look forward to. I think, especially for North American fans, definitely. So I think it gives them a little bit of hope, especially. So I wanted to actually go into sort of pick your brains on how you think NA could actually do at Worlds. How do you sort of expect this to go? Do you think this is going to be a run of the mill Team Liquid, TSM, FlyQuest? They all go out, in this sort of a pit of glory, or do you think they go out crashing and burning? What do you actually think is going to happen realistically?
Um, I don't know. I feel like since the perception of North America is not that good, that everyone wants to obviously like show what they're capable of, and you want to get out of groups. I feel like it would be more of a motivator than like maybe like demotivator. So I feel like
Hmm.
every team is probably going to give 120%, and probably like try everything they can to get out of groups and show some regional pride.
Hmm. Well, I definitely would agree with that. I feel like NA certainly do actually have a pretty good chance, in my opinion, to actually make it out of groups at least. But going into your next game, sort of what are you looking at in particular? Are there any sort of certain aspects that you feel like you need to change? I know this is just your first, this is just your first game, but is there anything you actually took from that and think, okay, we need to definitely be improving on this, or is it mainly, did you just sort of consider like the 1v1 fights, or is it just team fights? What is actually the problem here for you?
Well, so I was actually quite happy about my, I guess, like 1v1 performance against Knight. And I
Mhm.
feel like this group has really, really strong mid laners. So even so, let's say today I had not a bad game or bad day against Knight, I need to be really careful about tomorrow Chovy, because obviously all these mid laners in this group are like top of the list, and I think you just need to be ready against everyone. So I just can't like, I guess like slack. I need to be, 100% ready, um, not give them a big draft advantage in the mid lane either, and then obviously have a good synergy with my jungle to be ready. And the team problems or the team stuff you need to fix, I think we're just gonna try to work on them throughout like the next days, and obviously as well today, and review the matches, and hopefully we coming back stronger tomorrow.
Hmm. Do you feel like there's a bit of an expectation going forward now? Do you feel like you could certainly reply and definitely win some of these matches?
Well, as I said before, we are the underdogs, so most people don't expect us to win. But I think we as a team, we're just gonna try to have fun. We're gonna try to like give it all, and hopefully we can get some wins. I think it's definitely possible.
Hmm. All right, well, perfect. Thank you very much for joining me today, PowerOfEvil. I wish you the best of luck in
Thank you
your
as well.
next games.